We're good to go. Well, welcome, Priscilla. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk about a little bit about wine marketing and wine marketing trends in 2024, because I think there's a lot to cover. We talked before about these things more in private, I would say. I think our views are very similar to each other's view as well. So that might make a very boring show here. But anyway, let's try to make it not too boring. Obviously, first thing first. Why don't you introduce yourself and then go from there?
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast. I always is nice to be able to talk about some topics where people very curiosity and to know like people have a lot of questions and probably very nice if people have questions as well, leaving underneath as well on this or sending message to us. So it'd be always nice to have a little brainstorming all the time, just to open our mindset and see another perspectives. Um, yeah, so like I work in the wine industry for over 12 years now. So being in different places in the world, originally from South America, from Brazil, but living in Argentina, in Mendoza, living in Australia for over 7 years now, almost 80 years. Working in different parts in the wine industry. To be honest, I was being in retail, wine and tourism, sales, and work as a seller hand. So I did a little bit of everything. So I really want to go understand the whole industry, export as well. So I really like it to have an overview, like everything the industry actually can bring. And then the marketing has been something like we speak all the time about it. Just the wine marketing is still very not no don't get the enough value in the wine industry, and then everyone else knows like marketing is something we needed to care about it, because that's how we can be able to do different of the most of the competition. And that's what I've been building a lot of with the personal brand, and helping others to do that as well, and helping more in the marketing sides as well. Like that's how we start to connect it. That's how you connected for the first place.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think that's marketing is something I can see in the wine industry they need to improve. Some of the wine is doing great, but some of the wine is really needed to start to play this game, because they just technology and AI and everything else has started to come in. Like things is changing so much. Social media is changing your life,
Yeah.
or the way we saw things. All perspective is in everything. So the way we think is not the same as like when we start the wine industry. So we need to adapt the new changes, and that's what I'm very interested to talk about that today with you. To be honest,
Yeah.
because I can see a lot of value we can share with the audience.
Yes, exactly. And there's so much to talk about, but the main reason I wanted to do this podcast or this video is because I feel the wine trade generally, globally, uh, certain parts more than others, but globally they need to change in order to keep themselves in the race, because we're talking about spirits, craft beers, spritzers, non-alcoholic things, and loads of other trends and loads of other industries which are literally taking market share from the wine industry. And I think to see what's the biggest challenge in 2024, that would be my first real question is what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge for the wine trade in 2024? Because there are many of them, but I think there's going to be a few very important ones.
Sell wines, you be what's the challenge
There we
of
go.
being such
That's a very
a
short and easy answer, but that's true. Yes.
Definitely, like I'm dealing with a lot of the wineries and owners and everyone who talk the same thing. Like in this crisis and globally, and the people not drink wines, is the hardest part of my life is to sell wines. That's what they tell me,
Yeah.
and that's why I do believe it. Sell wines you became one of the most like skill everyone's gonna looking for,
Okay.
because that's probably is something like we needed to be able to the business keep it going. They need to be able to sell. But I think
Yes.
where the marketing is coming is because it's marketing is good for people remember you are there. So, like when you're gonna buy what was your wine, they remember you.
Yeah.
Like they going by you
So
when they
we're talking
wanted
about
to.
personal brand essentially.
Yeah, and then that's his personal branding. Yeah, like if you people remember like your product to your thing, they probably more likely to buy than if you don't remember. That's what the thing is. Lots of, at least in my view here. Let me like I would like it to ask you the same question as well afterwards.
Mm.
Um, but I think like in marketing, it's helping people engaging, it's helping people know about you, it's helping to people remember you are there when they need it, not necessarily then drive sales straight away. It's not because you're gonna put
Yeah.
your post on the LinkedIn and then people's gonna, oh my God, there's a post in the LinkedIn, you're gonna buy straight away. And then that's was is the misunderstood between marketing and sales. And that is why the wine industry doesn't understand they need to be all the time for to people remember about then, and then they just think like, oh, I did a post in not like I have 3 likes and no one, no one engaged, no one buy wine, so I'm gonna stop it. And that's is why like I say no, you can't stop it because you see like the competition, they keep in doing the same thing. They're going to remember about the competition but they're not going to remember about you. So that's, I think, is that it's the misunderstood what's marketing doing, what sales doing, and they don't understand how they can actually bring things together.
Yeah.
And then that is why that communication is still not, they don't understand how they can actually build the things together to be able to increase your market, increase your sales, and how we can actually build that bridge. And then that's, I think that's 2024. I think the producers wanted to play the infinite game. I think they need to learn that. What is
Yes,
marketing? What is sales?
and I think you just used the perfect word, the infinite game, because what I often hear from clients, for example, is that okay, we've been working on this for 2 months or 3 months, and then I don't see the direct result. And what my answer usually is that you might not see direct results in 6 months' time, you might not see it in a year time, but the problem is that their mindset should change, because this is not an ad in a newspaper, what it used to be. This is what you're going to do, not just for 2 months, 3 months, 2 years, 3 years. You're going to do this for the rest of your life. So
Exactly.
literally, people should not underestimate the power of digital marketing. Mainly nowadays is the more accurate word, rather than
Mhm.
just marketing itself. But I think digital marketing as well. And they have to understand that just because in 3 months' time you posted 12 something posts on LinkedIn or wherever, that's not gonna change the world, but you're gonna do this for the rest of your life. And I
Yes.
think the infinite game is the answer to this, I think.
It's funny because if people thinking like, all right, so I'm gonna try this. If it doesn't work, I'm gonna try this, but they don't understand the digital world, the technology is the infinite game. Innovations in the infinite game is like when you're like, I was actually looking at another podcast and the guy was talking about those things and then say like lots of people just want to win, but like win what? So you're going to stop that? No. So
Yeah.
it's not a point that so you need to reach. It's like it's the people just see. It's like it's always try to be better, to improve, get a better versions of yourself. It's not something we need to stop it. We just need to learn it and keep it doing even better than was before. Not
Yes.
just because they know I didn't get enough likes, I didn't have followers or whatever, because that's the perception of social media. I talk with some people's like, yeah, but people putting likes there, but you don't really have the sales. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. So you
Yeah.
still needed to be there. You need to be present. You need to people need to see you.
So
Like
so so
it's a very misunderstood in the industry between marketing and sales. They don't understand. They think they are the same thing. They are not. They don't
Yes.
understand what's the marketing role and the sales role. So
Yes, it's connected, but it's still two different aspects of the business. But do you think it's gonna be the biggest challenge? What is going to be the biggest challenge? Is it going to be a general mindset change for the wine industry? Is that going to be the biggest challenge in 2024 as well?
Yes, probably the mindset of the wine industry need to be changed, because I really think like then it was always so easy to sell wines. It still connect with the sales. Always was easy to sell wines. You just have a great product, but now we have so much competition.
Yeah.
And globally the demand is just slow down and it decrease. And if we have now, we have the problem, the opposite. We have oversupply and not much people interested to try wines. The new generation wine is not interested in. And this research is, we already show, like if one person die and it was a wine consumer, we need 6 of the teenagers, or non-teenagers, sorry, don't say teenagers, sorry, non-teenagers, teenagers, don't drink wine, please. But the younger generation need to actually start to engage and to be able to replace it. That one is to actually is not drinking wine anymore.
Yes.
So, and then that's what's happened, and we're not engaging this new generation. So what's the people going to do? Like, it was the old industry. We really love it and want to help. I wanted to people actually thinking. I want to make a question for you. That's what people is going to do if they don't change the mindset, if they don't change the things they do it, because they need to change the habits to be able to get new things, to be able to get new results. You're not going to be fit if you're not going to the gym and eat well.
Yes.
Like if your goal is sell wines, we need you to really see around you and change your environment, change what the things they're doing. Because if it's not working, it's because they needed to do things different.
Yes, exactly. And that sort of leads me to my next question as well, because my next question is how wineries and wine brands should communicate better to actually reach this new generation, because obviously we have to reach the new generation, because as you mentioned, and I see very similar statistics as well, a lot of the older generation think about wine, for example, when they go to an event or a party. What are you taking with you as an obvious gift, for example, for the host? The older generation would straight away go to wine, because most people like wine in their age group. The newer generation, though, would be more likely to go with beer, spirits,
RTD.
whatever but the main trend, what we can see, is that a generation is disappearing who loved wine, who likes wine. I'm sure wine is not going to be, the consumption might be reduced, but it's not going to disappear. But the idea is that we have to reach a newer generation, and we have to do that very quickly and very effectively. But how to do this? That's the next question, really.
That's the next question. Yes. So I think it's a problem there, because I think, again, I'm gonna come back a little bit before I answer that question. Is the mindset. When you're talking with people from the industry, because I have to talk with many people and then doing the same questions like, what do you do, like, actually to get the younger generation? And then the answer, the most of it then is like, when we're young, like, we don't really drink wine. You drink wine afterwards. It's just waiting your time. You see, like, this younger generation is gonna be engaged with wine.
I think we have to be proactive in that sense.
And I was like, right. But do you think, like, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we have social media, we have so much technology, we have coaching. What people don't do in university anymore is everything's about coaching now, or short courses. Everything is changing so much. Do you think the mentality of this younger generation will be the same as us, like 30, 40, 60, 100 years ago? Or, like, the world we live in now is so much information. Sometimes with Googling internet, sometimes it's harder to find actually the right information. With COVID, how many things we read, we don't even know what's the right thing or the wrong thing. It's just so much information that
Yeah.
to be able to read it and believe you or whatever you want. So how we can guarantee with the wine drinkers, like for the next generation, like for when they became 30 or 35, they're gonna drink wine.
Yeah.
I don't know, because they're gonna read anything, they're gonna believe in anything, they're gonna be taking in another way. Then maybe most of people end up in drinking whiskey or anything else, but knowing the wine. And if you just see waiting for things to happen, if it don't happen, what are you gonna do? You're gonna react after 30 years,
Yes.
just survive your business. So that's the questions that come to them, like, oh no, because it's all been the same for the last 100 years, and like when they get a little bit older, they're gonna drink. It's like, yeah, but I think you should just wake up, because we don't know if that's just gonna happen. And I
Yes.
think that's the mindset. Like
Mm.
when you talk to so many people, like I'm talking about 50, 60 years old, like don't want like a little bit to have a little bit age, they don't see the things is gonna change. They
Yeah.
think the things gonna be the same. You just need to wait.
Yeah.
And then that is why it stopped the wine industry to moving forward or to be innovate.
Yeah.
So I think that is why I haven't been struggling or haven't been so much to try to help them to thinking other things. You sure that? Did you stop to think if the technology they're gonna advance and we change how people
Yeah.
might, and then they don't drink wine? And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna survive for that long time? It's just
Yes.
survive with your business? And that's when they stop it to say like, well, yeah, I need to think about it. Yes, you need to think about it, because you cannot just be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years surviving. You need to start to building your business the way you can actually make it inspire for other people, inspire for your kids. They wanted to be able to be in the wine industry, because if you're not the wine industry, if I'm struggling with my business, my kids, they want to be in the wine industry.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I think it's always better to be proactive, as you say, proactive rather than reactive, because if we wait 5 years, we're going to be so much disadvantaged compared to other industries that we won't be able to actually catch up with them again. And we
Yeah.
already starting from a very, a very difficult point where we
Yeah.
are now, with
Yeah.
consumption dropping, and we're not reacting to it. And it's very funny, because I had another a call with someone else, and we talked about Bordeaux, and I don't really want to do I don't want to do Bordeaux bashing here, but I think it's quite funny, but because they are a very traditional wine region,
Yeah.
and sometimes when I look someone up, I just realized that they don't have a Facebook page, they don't have an Instagram account,
No,
and
they don't.
and very often they don't even have a website.
Oh,
And
oh no,
we're
that's
talking
the
about
worst.
2023, 2024. It's, I mean, it's been happening in the 1990s. Come on, it's not
it's
a new
it's
thing.
it's not even that. Like if you see wineries, they don't really have a proper software to keep like all the database of the customers and everything. They
Yeah.
don't really try to make it personalized things, notes about like who come in, what the time and what they like it. Like to build like a better relationship and to give you better experience. And you think like some of the people they still doing on the paper.
Mm,
Obviously,
yeah.
some wineries are still doing like emanual on the paper. They don't really have like a very simple software to keep all the names. It's insane. Like how we take so much time into things on the paper when you just could be able to have a software. We have all the customers, they have all the things, and you can marketing better, doing emails, marketing. Like we have so much things we know that we can do better, but people just avoid them. It just wanted to do manual, I don't know,
Yeah.
100 years
I
ago.
mean, it's
It's
going to be very difficult for them to reach new generation with sending them letters in the post. So, but because most of the new generation, obviously, 24/7 on their phones, and on their social
I
media all the time. And
I'm one of them. I'm 35. I'm very into social media, and I see all the wine is there and the
yeah,
wineries there and the experience that people have it. And I mean, one of the person, if it's someone have a great experience, they wanted to get that experience as well, because wine is experience.
yeah,
People, the younger generation, the younger mind, they really feel like experience, and they wanted to take in this wine because they wanted to give experience, wanted a story. People really good at building storytelling and then building like experience.
yeah,
That's what the winners at the time in now in the wine industry. That's the
yeah,
one they're doing it very well. If you're just doing like just look around and have a look at the people doing well, it's really because they bring experience, they bring storytelling, they bring innovation, they thinking different, and that's what they're doing well. And the people just keep in their mind, this gonna change and things like that. Think most of them is struggling. So it's not me say that. We just see around and have a look.
yeah,
And then the younger generation, they're not drinking wine like they drink wine in different style. They wanted something fresh, and they wanted something they don't want that old style, old school. Like you need to find a way as well to approach them, to talk with them. Like you don't need your wines be the same, but like you create something to actually engage with them, or
yeah,
have the talk with the language. And definitely the digital world is everyone is going to be digital. Everyone's going to be digital, and then more and more like the younger generation, more people's coming is digital. The old kids, you're going to shout the care of my daughter. The kids is just this, like you'll have a TV, have a phone, have iPads, have it everything. So what's going to be the world? Do you think they're going to change to be the same as 100 years ago? I don't think so. Tell me
probably not.
about your story in the UK, but here's in Australia, all the kids 7, 8 years, they have an iPad, they have mobile
Yeah,
phones, they have everything.
I think
So
it's all across the board. It's all across the globe. Actually, it's not a new thing, and everybody lives on social media nowadays, um, and even on social media, when we talk about, let's say, a winery doesn't have a Facebook page or an Instagram account, it's 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 not funny. It's actually sad in many
it's
ways.
yeah,
And I'm not advocating for social media, but I'm certainly seeing the benefits of it. And I just my thing is, if you don't have a Facebook account and you're just signing up for one, you way past that time. So Facebook is obviously, it's the biggest social media on platform in the world with the most users, but again, your age group is more in the 55 plus age group. But the people you want to find, they're not hanging on about Facebook, they're hanging about TikTok and other platforms.
and the other
and
platforms.
and that's another question which I wanted to ask, is which social media platforms do you think gonna be short to medium term, which are gonna be the ones which we have to look out, because they're obviously all slightly different. But yeah. Guys, welcome. It's still me, Csaba. Thank you for your patience. I am the podcast host and the founder of FineWineToMe.com, a wine business consultancy based in London. However, at this second, I'm here to promote my side hustle, which is Daddy Wine Club, which is a sustainable fashion brand for wine lovers. We create all these amazing hoodies, t-shirts, and jumpers for wine lovers, and really for anyone who loves these products. So please, 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 if you can, have a look at daddywine.club. This is the website, and check out if you like something there. Thank you for your patience, and let's get back to the podcast right now.
I think today we have so many. We have a Snapchat, we have the TikTok, we have the Instagram, we have the Facebook, we have Twist. We have so many.
Yeah.
I think you need to understand your product well, and what's the people you wanted to sell, as well. And so if you were higher end products and you wanted to be, it's like selling, we talk about over $100 a bottle. I still think like probably is you can actually go which channel you want it to be. If you go wine, it's like, because TikTok we know is very much more for the younger generation. And
Yeah.
if you have a product that you actually can communicate, can talk the language, you'd be nice to go on that side of the TikTok for sure. But if you're selling like wines, I don't know, like a Grange, like $1,000, you can go there, but I don't think it's most of the people pay $1,000. It's
Yes.
gonna be to be in a TikTok. Makes sense.
Yes.
So I think you really need to see
You never
what.
know, but yes, yeah, you never
You
know, but
never know. You never know. You're right. So you may have in that, but it's
yeah,
probably not the
yeah,
bigger people, because I feel like people we have a little bit more money, they're more stable, they're more, like is a little bit older, and then that's the people actually gonna pay $1,000. That's not telling the younger generation not gonna pay that. It's definitive thing,
yeah,
it just see I'm just taking like a very general thing, the general approach and a very
yeah,
general thing, because like it depends how we do and how we wanted to do it, how do you want to reach. If you have the right strategy, you can do whatever you want. But I think like if you selling Granger here with Gracie's, like just give you some example of the very expensive wines in Australia. I would not thinking, at least at the moment, TikTok could be the best platform for those
of
wines,
course, yeah,
if it makes sense.
yeah,
I think probably Facebook, even Instagram,
yeah,
even LinkedIn actually, because LinkedIn we have a lot of free corporate event. Like people don't do much on the LinkedIn. I think that's a big opportunity for wineries there as
yes,
well. And the more when you actually talk about expensive wines, because everything's there is like very high end professionals try to be building their networking, and like I have contact with so many people, so many around people with like different levels, and for example LinkedIn is a good way
actually,
as well to
actually,
go.
this is where we connected as well, I think.
Yeah,
LinkedIn,
yeah,
yeah,
we're connected by LinkedIn, so it's one of my I love the platform LinkedIn, so
mm,
probably I will be more towards that. But yeah, I think it depends of what you sell. Like for example, for me, get more in the consultancy, LinkedIn works very well,
yeah,
because that's what I'm selling, what's my product is.
yeah,
And then that's probably most of people looking for what are they looking like, what they're looking
yeah,
for my product, they're gonna probably try to looking at the LinkedIn. So I am just to try to put in me like on the place where they have like it's like I have like I go into the lake, and then I'm gonna go into the lake when I have a place we have enough fish, and I have a place I have lots of fish. So it's up to you if you want to go into the place you don't have fish, and you
yes,
just keep in like you try to luck to
yeah,
try to find a fish, and then the whole day try your luck, the best lucky. Or
yeah,
you just go in that lake, have lots of fish, we probably be able to get some fish for that day, because you
yeah,
have more fish in that too. You actually try your best
yes,
lucky. So I think that's is the mentality. I think the whole platform, and they have many platforms in the digital marketing. I think you just need to say like, what's your product, your targets, what like all these
yeah,
the old marketing people tell you. That's probably thinking about all these steps
yeah,
and then building your strategy. And it's like that's LinkedIn, because they're looking for business owner, because I'm looking for um people we should like actually have a more stable life is, and have a
yeah,
little bit more,
more disposable income, yeah,
yeah, more possible income and all the things like that. So you're probably gonna go like more towards on these things. But if you wanted to like your product is more for the younger generation, and they wanted to do some like actually I wanted to reach them, and
yeah,
they are in TikTok.
yes,
So you need to be in a TikTok. Like if you thinking about the future, if you want to be involved and engage with the new generation, so TikTok, Instagram probably is the best one. So I
yes.
think you just need to have a look at it. But tell me, do you think it's the same, or do you have other things to add?
Yes, it's absolutely valid what you're saying. Obviously, it depends on what you're trying to sell. Is it a product? Is it an experience? Is it some sort of service? And obviously, what is your target market or target audience? So obviously, if it's a B2B, then you have to be on LinkedIn, because if you're not, you're leaving massive amount of opportunities on the table. Uh, but I also think a lot about just outside of the box, because people still think about oh, we have to be on Instagram and we have to be on Facebook, and that's ticked off, and that's about it. But I think what you get on Facebook or Instagram, for example, is a very short and narrow window to reach your audience, and it's a great funnel, but that funnel should be extended to longer form content as well, like YouTube, where once people get into a YouTube channel, they are obviously there because of a reason. They search for certain topics, search for certain experiences, and then on YouTube you already have a more engaged customer, and the longer time they spend with you, the more familiar they become with you, and they also trust you better as well. And I think trust is very important in a business.
Very important. And
Yeah.
I think I really like that marketing things like 7-4-11. I think that's something works very well. Like people to be able to trust you, they need to read or be engaged with you for 7 hours, and like
Yeah.
in 4 different platforms and 11 different touch points. I think that's probably one thing people really need to think about it. Like that is why, right, I need the social media though, because if I don't have the social media, if I don't have the website, if I don't, if I don't do some YouTube, it's just like people gonna engage with you in different ways. Some people love videos, some people love to reading, some people love, like you needed to be able to create communications are going across to different types of like types of personalities, or even like preferences, I would say. And that's why I think that's why the wine industry can improve, because if you have Instagram, you just have Instagram, or they don't care about the LinkedIn, or they think if I just doing one workshopping every
Yeah.
year, that's it, that's what I do. They don't really try to improve. They don't really try to engage. And sometimes when they have actually social media, they don't engage. That's also something as well we talked in the last time.
Yeah.
Engage, like people just comment. They don't even try to be
They
nice
po-
with
they
people. They
yeah
don't try
they
to say,
post and sell their product, and that's it, and that's job done.
and
That's it.
yeah, and then the engage is very important, because that's how people listen. People think like, oh, they listen to me, they actually care about me, like then we have a communication, we're building a relationship. And then the engagement, that's why social media, because it's
It's
social,
it's called
like people,
social. Yes,
it's
exactly.
social.
For a reason.
um for a reason, exactly. So that's the social thing. People don't believe it and just think like, I'm gonna put in on these programs we have for marketing, when you're just posting that for 8 o'clock every morning, anything, any picture, any fake things, and that's it.
Yeah.
So they don't really care about what they think. It just post anything, it's good enough. They don't
Yeah.
really have a strategy, they don't really have like a storytelling, they don't really have like someone to engage in. And that's the other things that can improve as well. It's not only about to be on the socials or
Yeah.
be doing different things. It's actually needed to be aware as well, the analytics that, oh, this post is actually doing very well. So it's must, like my customer probably really liking to know about vineyards, just to
Yeah.
give an example, because then really going the analytics for this post, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like what's your customer like the most? You pay attention that,
Yeah.
you try to build in your strategy on that, to engage with them. They have someone actually answer the comments on the post. Most of
Yeah.
the time they don't. I don't know
Yeah.
about your experience, but that's my experience with most of the ones. They don't really try to answer.
Yeah.
Like they have like so many, you send a message to winery on the Instagram, how many actually answer
Yes,
or
that's
repost
an
you
interesting
something?
one. And that's what is quite interesting about that is that there's many good elements of uh, engagement as well. So obviously, number one is, first of all, you building trust and building a one-to-one communication with somebody. That's the main thing. But second is actually your analytics, the numbers grow as well, because if somebody sends you a message or react to your post with something, what you do is literally just answer that person. So you suddenly you grow, you get somebody engaged with you. Suddenly you reply to that person. That's double engagement already on your post. If you use it very cleverly, what you do is you answer the person, and on a separate message, you actually ask a question. That's 3 times engagement. If the person answers your question, it's 4 times the engagement. So you just build it very, very easily, and that's signals to the algorithm as well that your platform or your account actually is doing really well because you are engaging with people. So it's not just engagement direct to the customer, which is very important, but it is also helps your algorithm build up as well. And that, again, it's not just the
Yeah.
customer will trust you, the platform
It,
will trust you as well.
exactly, and that is another very important point, because if you wanted to be able to get your message or your product or your service or whatever you try to do it to other people, you
Yeah,
needed to get better to measure the analytics and the
yeah,
algorithm. So that's how we can increase your audience, and then we
yeah,
can actually get better on that. So, and then how we do that, if you're not really engaging and if you don't really pay attention and you don't really care about it, you just put it at automatic things in gonna post you every time,
yeah,
like any fake picture,
yeah,
like whatever you feel like, you just they found like, all right, so that's a fake picture and it's just a bottle. They don't have a like emotion, because it's a thing about like emotion as well. But I feel like social
yeah,
media, from my own experience with social media, is people wanted to trust, they want to be out, like something like it looks like authentic, like something
yeah,
like it look real. There's not
yes,
like this is my bottle of wine, look at, 95 points, buy now,
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
show any anything. You don't
yeah,
make it different. You don't make it feeling me special to try this one or to buy this one. I think that's something as well. I see lots of the wineries do it, and it's not a really powerful message. They
it,
they say- they
no,
talk about them. They don't talk about the customer. They don't talk about how they're gonna feeling drinking that bottle of wine. They just like, look, I'm awesome. I got a 95 points. Buy me now. I'm
yes, exactly,
awesome. So it's not I'm awesome. It's about who is reading that. They need to feel awesome, not you. So I
yes,
think
exactly,
that people don't understand that when they actually go into the social media, and then they don't understand it. They need to care about the other people, to help another people, feel good about
yes,
anything they do it. And it just like, that's why I think like it's, look, I'm the most premium wine. Look, I am the
yeah.
most, like it's
I
not
think
about you. I think people
I
need
think
to think it different.
the main problem, it's a very common problem actually, that people think about social media as a sales tool, and it's not a
Yeah,
sales tool,
yeah,
it's a brand awareness
exactly.
tool. And because if you just keep pushing a bottle of wine or an image of a bottle of wine down on somebody's throat, literally, saying buy me, buy me, buy me, why would people buy you when they don't know you? So all you're doing is just putting out a bottle of wine and say this is brilliant, but why would the people trust you if they're not engaged with you?
Exactly. So they don't engage, they don't really understand your message, they don't understand why your wine is awesome, they don't understand anything. I think the communication needs to be better. I think the communication is something the wine industry needs to improve for 2024. Um, like beyond of to be on more in the digital space, I think the communication is not great yet for most of the wineries. I think then they believe there is, like you said, like a sales tool, so that
Yeah,
people are gonna see you, you're gonna sell. Like they believe if you don't sell, if it just because it's not working, and then
yeah,
leave it. And that's the thinking need to be better communicate to the wine industry as well. So it's like Look, that's what's wine marketing doing.
Yeah.
And that's what the sales team doing. So we
Yeah.
capture attention, and the sales team actually doing the sales. We have it to have it two different teams.
Yeah.
There's not marketing and the sales is the same person.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get in the same time, it's great. It's great
Yes.
as a winner, but that is not the only thing. We try to bring brand awareness. People need to remember you exist.
Yes.
So how they remember you exist is by using the digital world, because that's most of the people spend, I don't know, like 10 hours a day on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in Google socials, we spend so much time in these days in just spending time
And
in on the social on the internet.
my feeling about this as well is, I read it somewhere. I think it was about Red Bull, the energy drink company. Why their social media is so great is because they're not selling a product, they selling a feeling of freedom, a feeling of you are capable of anything, a feeling of Red Bull gives you wings. But it's not that buy Red Bull because it's the best thing on earth. It is an experience, it is a feeling what they
I
try to achieve. And
love it, love it. No,
and
you're right. You're right.
and
That's it.
and I think the wine trade would be a very good place to actually do this, because you can actually sell a feeling, when you are in a vineyard sitting on a terrace of a winery. That is a feeling. That is, I believe a lot of people would want that. But if we're just pushing bottles of wine on pictures, that's not really giving
Anything.
that. Yeah. It's, but anyway, yeah, on a slightly different note, there's another thing which is here already, but and we haven't really talked about it yet, because social media, in many ways, it is big part. It's the major part of our life. However, I think there's a new thing, and that's AI. And AI is obviously here. My question is, obviously, will AI play a crucial part in the wine world in the coming years? But what I should really ask is, because I know the answer, yes, it will. But can we adapt quick enough? Because wine trade or the wine industry generally tend to be very slow on adaptation and new things. Can we adapt quick enough to AI not to lose the game? What do
Well,
you think?
they have it too. So with the regulation on the Europe with the QR code, they need to start to looking for technology to do QR codes. If you don't have QR codes yet, like they started to moving more in the technology side, like automatically, like because the regulation now in Europe, if you need to put ingredients, you need to be the QR codes and stuff. So
Yeah.
people never done that before. They'll be struggling so much. And I think AI, I see AI like a very good, like we have Vivino as I think probably is a good in the wine industry to talk about when you talk about AI, because they're doing like a great job with the artificial intelligence in the wine industry. They probably one of the biggest, like you have so much data now, but the last 10 years with a lot of consumers and stuff, so they actually can bring something more valued to the industry, because I think with AI as well, need to give it time, because, and that's the thing as well, people say like lots of can communicate, because we have lots of AI, we can actually create a lot of things is not true anymore. So that's why the world is like, that's why the world is just so crazy. So we don't even know what's the true or not, because like a lot of things being created by artificial intelligence, the information. So that is why I think AI will be good, and AI you're gonna be something in the industry. Not only the wine industry, I think the oil industry is gonna be big. But yeah, definitely people like Vivino have so many struggling time for the last 10 years because they was pretty much one of the big, the one is actually came with the idea, but they're doing well now. I think everything is technology in the wine industry. You need to give time to them.
Yeah.
And it was like my last post about technology in general and the AI including that. It's just they need to build a relationship with wine. I think my feeling is like the technology industry, they have a way to think, they are quickly, they are, like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
are fast. When the wine industry is romantic, it's slow.
Yeah.
Like we need to find a way to communicate and to bring these two together. But um it definitely is something like what Vivino does, for example, talk about AI is pretty much mostly recommend wines for people who don't know about wine. It's pretty
Mm.
much almost like giving online sommelier kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I can see that be more and more. And then we like talk with another guy that developed something for
Yes. Alexa. Yes. Exactly.
Alexa. Yeah. So the
Google
Alexa's,
or Amazon or whichever. Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
the some of them I know some of the people try to bring in some technology so like it's game is to be able to engage you with people as well and just get a more data what are people liking and then recommend one is there as well. So like there is so many people, clever people try to bring so many things in industry.
Yeah.
I think the wine industry really needs to change the way they see things. And then that's probably is what we talk about. People thinking like if people just gonna change the way they think and they're gonna drink wine when they're getting older. I think if you keeping looking that way, I don't know how long you're gonna be looking for that gaming because AI is gonna change so much in people mind and so much people behavior. People
Yeah.
are gonna drink wine in a different way. People probably engaging like Vivino or asking things in the computer for AI to help them to choosing wines and
Yeah.
things. And if you're not getting involved and all of those things is gonna come.
Yeah.
I I I don't know how we can be involved in the next, like 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, even 5 years time, because I think in 5 years time we're gonna have this conversation. It's like, oh my God, do you remember when you're talking like for the trend for 2024? Now it's completely changed for the trend for 2029. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a massive change.
Do you?
What do you think?
I'm big time. I mean, I think it's my worry is that the wine industry won't be quick enough to adapt. That's my big worry. But at the end of the day, they have to because there's going to be no question about it. So I work on a project with one of my clients who um, we created a virtual tasting experience through Alexa, and there's an app where you can ask Alexa to present a tasting experience for you, and it's a people can look at my LinkedIn account, and they will see many of these posts about it. But I believe you posted something recently about that you starting on another project about it. Is that right?
Yes,
Something AI
exactly.
involved.
Yeah. So artificial, yeah, like machine learning.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it is more about not so much about customers or marketing. Is about more wine making process.
Yes.
So that is a machine learning to be able to increase, like to get a like a automations on the process of making wines,
Yeah.
because like we see like lots of things like happening during vintage. We have a lot of times so many things happen, temperatures going up, going down,
Yeah.
like bricks like sugar levels, acidity, like how we call pH in the terms, in
Yes.
the wine terms.
Yeah. We're
um
not supposed to mention these things because that's boring. So
Yeah,
it's yeah.
yeah, it's just why we just try to
Yeah.
use the words most people know. But yeah, so that's the things like yeah, just get the real time information, so we'll be able to be quick enough and safety, like beef safety and quality, precision, like the time you
Yeah.
need to be done things. And yeah, and then the technology is good because they just try to improve it every year, so it's not like something they be the same like 6 years ago and it's still the same. So they what they do is like they takes the fermentation, they get collect all the data, and it just creates something even better for the next year.
Yeah.
So that is always, because that is about technology. So if you buy a phone today, you always wanted to buy another phone the next year because the technology is already
Yeah.
advanced, and then we have new features and things like that. So you need to always be keeping up to date. And I think that's probably something that's going to be with the AI and then different things in the wine industry as well. We need to keep you updated all the time, and that's why the technology think is so quickly in. And then
Yeah.
that's why the mentality thing are so different, is because they need to think quickly to be able
Yeah.
to to go into technology, because like everyone thinking so ahead, what
Yeah.
things going on. And that's the thing, is really struggling with the wine industry, because the people so don't want to figure that much ahead. They don't really want to saving time, like do something like in more priority, or be more productive with something
Yeah.
more important. And a lot of things is not, like things that we can be done without problems. Like I think that the mentality we need to think about are like, why am I going to spend my time in writing down on this book like all the names of people come to visit my cellar today. If I can easily just have it, these automatically come into my computer, like, and then decided to spend 3 hours doing that, the by name you write on that my by hand. I would just use that 3 hours thinking about like how I can actually planning my Christmas, how I'm planning my sales for Christmas, for New Year's,
Exactly.
or anything. Like what else we can
We
actually, how we can increase your sales, what we increase your things, where you're next to go, what you're gonna be doing for like anything more productive than just is writing down names of
Yes.
the people in the salad. I just one thing I think that's technology help us, and then people don't realize, and AI is one of them.
Yes. And I think you brought this very nicely into I think it's my last question really, is because what AI can do is ultimately what AI can do is save you time. And with your time, what can you do? I think you can spend more time with your family most
Yeah,
often. And that's my last question, because you have a young child as well at home, same as
true.
same as me. And I don't know about you, but we very often struggle with time, and very often struggle with how to balance life here. So I just wanted to ask you, how is career in wine and motherhood works for you and for
Yeah.
your family?
And then that's this very good question. Like, you don't necessarily just do something more productive, but probably something with your family. Because,
Bit
like,
more
for
relaxing.
example, more relaxing. Like, if, for example, if you have someone like some machine, you take the samples for you and the tank, like with the technology we're working now, you can don't need to be Saturday morning, or like it can be
Yeah.
Saturday morning with your family going to like the beaches or whatever, because the temperature, like the sugar, the acidity, all the numbers in the control. If everything's in control, so you don't need to go in the winery
Yeah.
that morning or that afternoon, like it
Yeah.
depends of the situation, because everything's in control, so you can spend the time in doing something else. And then that's one of them, it's spending time with your family, or with like, I think it's a very good point. I like that, really like that. I like it. It's just not thinking only about working, but thinking about the balance and taking time with your family.
Yeah.
Look, I think that's you probably, for both of us, we're not from we don't have a family, mommy, daddy next to us. I think that's probably
Yes.
the hardest bit for me. Is just not be able to call my mom, mommy, can you help me? Like,
Yeah.
because she's just so far away. She's in Brazil, I'm in Australia. I think that's probably why I think it's a that's a difficult part. But I think in the same time, in the end of the day, we just doing things, and most of the
Yeah.
time, because we love it. I love the mind industry. I love what I do. I really am passionate about this. And then I really wanted to make impact and then making people thinking or rethinking their strategies. That's is my role, like my really job.
Mm.
It's just like, your strategy is good. Do you show you good? Let's just see, have a little brainstorm. Like maybe you can find new opportunities. I think that's pretty much what I try to do in the wine industry. Working in different projects, it's just like make sure we all survive. We not survive, but it's actually you play the infinite game. It's just
Yeah,
keeping the game running, and that sometimes can be hard and with the
you know,
balance.
yes, running home to your daughter and spend the
Yeah,
time with her, right?
sometimes can be harder to be balanced, but I'm sure that's what I'm doing today is gonna be beneficial in the long term as well. I hope that
Yeah,
that's making her. But I don't know about you, but I to be honest with you, I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling to find everything the balance. It just I try to be the best, but not always. I get there. Tell me about your experience.
yeah.
That's
It's
why I just want one girl. I don't want more kids because it's a hard to be able to work in what do we do. We are entrepreneurs. We are business mentality. It's a harder to be able to building something big and to give a like the 100% the attention you wanted to give to your kid as well. I sometimes I really, I need to be very honest. I'm really sometimes I struggle with that, but I try
yeah.
to give my best always. So
Yes, yes. I think it's the same for me as well. And as you just mentioned before, that obviously you are from Brazil and living in Australia, and I'm from Hungary and living in the UK. Obviously, it's not as huge of a distance as yours, but at the same time, it almost doesn't matter because I can't call my parents, say, okay, jump on a plane now and be here in like whatever half an hour. That doesn't exist, I'm afraid.
no,
So yes, it's just my wife and my wife and I, and we both work. We both try to build the future as well. And I think we discuss this quite a lot with my wife, as much time as we have just the two of us, how to create a probably a better environment for her as well, at the same time, and not lose our minds ourselves in the process, because that could happen very often. Although I I regularly say that the wine industry is a very laid back industry, and it's not necessarily about rushing around like crazy person, but because we are entrepreneurial people, we like to make life a little bit more exciting, a little bit better. But I think it's yes, it is. It can be hard work. Although again, me being a father, I would never dream to compare that to motherhood, because that's, again, I think it's a level up from where I am. It's
yeah.
I think I often feel father is a secondary position to. It's almost like the CEO and the CFO position, or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, no, definitely the mother. It's always about, like any dangerous situation or anything, or like it's always mommy, mommy, mommy. But
Yeah,
yeah, it is challenging. I don't gonna say to you like, oh, it's fine. We take everything's fine. We're gonna be everything's balanced. No, it's I. I'm very authentic and I'm very honest when the people ask me questions. And so like, yes, it's hard.
yeah,
It's very challenging, but we try to do the best we can. So
yeah,
that's is my thing. It's just to try to be the best mother and I still doing the things like I do love to do for work. But yeah, to be entrepreneur, to have this mindset to solve problems of other people, it's like it's all the time in thinking, and it's never stop it. But that just make me happy anyway because I like to be challenged. That's making me motivation. That's make me like, well, then let's wake up and thinking about that, and we're gonna get there. So, like building everything's thinking about different things, try different things, different strategies. And I think what some things work, something doesn't. You're probably in the same space as well. And I try to all the times we give you some time is when get home, we play, get some time for her as well. And then and then try to manage that how much you can manage it and the better way you can. But it's not a recipe, it's not some like
Oh God,
it's
I,
a
I, I was hoping you were gonna give me a recipe here, but no, you
doesn't
told me
have
that.
a recipe.
Sorry.
Everyone is still different way for different situations, but I
Yeah,
think if your daughter is happy and you're happy and your wife is
yeah,
happy, I think that's the most important thing. I think if your family is happy to building that thing together, they wanted to support you
yeah,
to do what you really have the meaning, and you know that's your mission and the
mhm,
wine industry. I think that's I do have the support for my family to just keep
yeah,
me pushing for the things that my view and my mission, because that's my thing. Like I really think in that way, and I know I have the power to change things, and then that's what I wanted to do. And I think
yeah,
you the same, and that's why this connection between you and me.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, I think it was a good ending to this session. But yeah, so essentially this is what we, the two of us, in a brief hour thought about how wine marketing 2024 will look like, what are the challenges, and what we should be doing. I think there's a lot more to cover, but obviously probably on a different episode now. But
Yeah.
thank you very
Thank you.
much, Priscilla,
Thank
for the time, and I'll let you go to bed because in Australia it is very late now. In the UK we are in the morning still, but yeah,
Yeah.
and and
Thank you so much for the invitation. Really appreciate it. I think it was a nice chat, and I hope that it's actually be very useful for people rethinking about their strategy, what they do, whether they actually think about 2024. I think it was great idea to do that talk. I think that's going to help lots of people, and then that's is about it. Like it just to help people to how they can get the better versions of their life. So and then how they get a better version of the business. So and then thank you so much for coming with
no
the
problem.
idea. And then with this topic, I think it's very a topic everyone is talking about and they need to understand. And I think it would be pretty good to be able to just clarify that what's marketing, what sells, how it worked, what that worked, and what we need to be a little tips about what we can do different. I think it was very, very very good like talking and chat, because I think that's probably something just to have a like so different perspective about wine marketing. So yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah,
the invitation. Really happy for what we're discussing today.
no problem. And guys, anyone, I'm gonna probably put it into the show notes as well. But yeah, where you find Priscilla, I think probably the best place is LinkedIn, because you have a quite a big following on there, and I think that's gonna be your place to people to connect with you if they want to get your ideas and thoughts on this one. But anyway,
Yeah,
guys,
thank
thank you
you.
very much and have fun.